It is that time of year again. Time to plan for the 2021-2022 homeschool year. Thank you so much for joining me today. We are going to be setting up my DIY homeschool planner. Okay, I'm totally DIYing this. So if you watched my last video, I shared with you what we used last year, and it was a 5-star. This is as well. And I opted for a covered ring option this year just because it prevents some snagging and whatnot. So I shared with you in that video some things that I wanted to change for this planner. And so I wanted to bring you along and show you how I set it up. This is brand new. And I like the type of cover that this is because I can easily wipe it off. It's not going to tear or anything like that. It does have a little, slit pocket here. And you can tuck papers in. It came with these page flags, and so you could totally replace these as you use them up and move them throughout the book. It also comes with a clear ruler here, which is kind of handy, and then you have a pocket on both sides of this. It's pretty sturdy. This part right here is, you can hear that. Here you can fill in your information as the spots are indicated there. Looks like there's multiple. And then your pages, your notebook paper begins. And then this is a one subject, and I think that's what I had last year. So that's what I'm going to try this year. I don't know how many pages are in here, so I'm going to kind of I might leave one of, well, I guess I would end up leaving 3 of those and maybe start right here. I just don't feel the need for all of that other stuff. And maybe, because this is clear, I can put in my calendar. I do not know. Oh, christianbook.com, I guess, is where I got this somehow. I don't recall exactly, but that's what's on the bottom. So I can see that through both sides. And so I could just leave that open and not put anything else in there. I haven't indicated any of the dates on this yet, but I have mapped out our school year. We do school year round. And I mentioned, I believe, in my last video that I'm going to be doing schooling a little bit different this year. And part of that is going to be schooling a little bit through the day, but mostly it's going to be from like 4, I can't remember. Let me get my calendar. 1 second. So we're going to have an hour session Monday through Thursday from 1 to 2. That's going to be just my first grader and I. And then on Friday morning from 10:30 to 1 is going to be art. And that seems like a very long time to do art, but I do have a toddler who is 2. So I have a 6-year-old daughter and a 2-year-old daughter at home. So I want to make sure that I leave enough time for cleanup and for us to have ample time to paint. And I usually do painting or cutting and gluing during that time. But anyway, and then we're going to have schooling from 4 to 6:30 Wednesday through Saturday. So we're going to do stuff a little bit different this year. I've created that here on my ideal week, as you can see. I think this is the newest one. I've been kind of playing around with things, and so I've kind of changed things around. But that is what we are going to do for our homeschool times. I feel like that evening from like 4 to 7 always gets away from me. Like that's 3 hours and it's not productive. Like sometimes it is, maybe, but usually that time just flies by and we're not really doing anything. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not sitting around, but it's like we're not being very productive during that time. So I'm going to try that. And I think that it will also help my kids. They have a little bit of hard time falling asleep at night. So that's kind of my thinking. I do have some long range planning here that I found online. Knowledge Nuggets is the creator. And I think that I will probably use these in some way, but I'm not going to put them in here. I do have a teacher binder. It's probably going to end up being more than one this year, but I do have that. I wanted to see if I could fit these in though. These are from blankcalendar.com, blank-calendar.com. And I wanted to use these to just have like a little bit more of an overview. I could use pencil or friction pen on these as well. I mentioned that I use a friction pen in my homeschool planner, so I can erase it. But I don't have a problem, you guys. Like I draw arrows. I don't have a problem with that, or correcting things as I go, because I really do want a record too, of what we actually got done. But these, so you have 6 months on each page, and there's holidays obviously written in there, but you could totally wipe those out if you didn't need that. But I printed out multiple of these, and I went ahead and hole punched them, but I think I may add them in here. But the top priority for this is this simple homeschool planner that I found. In my last video, I mentioned that I wanted the day and then having the subjects down the side. So that's what I located. And I printed them out. So Monday, I feel like these aren't really correlated very well here. Collated, not correlated. Okay, here we go. So it will go like this. This is from superteacherworksheets.com. That is who created this. So I am going to either go outside the boxes here and kind of write in my subject, or I may write it vertically, or turn my book, or I may write it this way, like one letter underneath one another. Haven't decided that yet. But this is going to be better because that is the one thing that I struggled with as far as actually using last year's planner. Like I mentioned in my last video, I am going to be using this Elmer's tape runner to adhere these to my pages. So I'm going to move these out of the way for a moment. And I also mentioned in that video, that book actually had holes, I don't know why. You would tear those out maybe and put them in your book or in a binder. Don't worry, I'm going to fast forward through some of that sound, but that is what that sounds like. Maybe I might go like this instead of doing it the whole way, but I'm going to just show you one in like real time, and then I will either fast forward it or come back. Didn't quite get that on there. See, that's the other part of this, is that maybe, you want to do it kind of towards the edge, but then I get worried that I'm not going to, that it won't stay. You can always re-adhere it, I'm just saying. Okay. So put this one over here. Okay. So I'm going to continue doing this. I need to look at my plan, my dates that I mapped out right here, and figure out how many pages I needed of that. I may have to print some more. And also I want to add the week number on this. I do know that that's one thing that is missing, that I need to add on here. That is, doesn't have a spot or whatever, and I didn't want to forget about doing that. So I'm going to continue working, and you guys can see how this kind of turns out.
We do have holes.
So one thing that I do when I do my weekly planning is again, I have a long range planner, right? That's in a spreadsheet. I might switch that over. I use Google Sheets for that, okay? But there's an app that's called Plan Book, I think it's the name of it. And that looked like a really good app to house your lessons on there, right? The thing is I'm never going to solely rely on digital. I don't see myself doing that. I do use Notion. I do use Google things, Google Meet, Google Sheets, Google Docs, whatever, right? Google Keep is also good. So I use those type of things as far as digital stuff goes. But anyways, so Plan Book looks good too, though, to kind of have things out in front of you, or when you don't have your planner right, when you need it, right? When you're out and about. I don't carry my homeschool planner out with me, So there may be some things in there that I could reference when I'm out and about making decisions or whatever, or if I'm talking to my husband about when we're doing certain things or whatever. It's just another reference, basically. But anyway, so I use those tools to house information, and I only put in here what the plan is for the week. I do not fly by the seat of my pants. I do not write down whatever we get done, what we get done, and I make a note of it. No, that's not how this works. I plan my day and we accomplish our objectives, okay? And what I started doing towards the end of the year last year, well, this year, do you know what I mean? 2021, but last school year, what I started doing was involving my daughter and having her, I had to get a new one, having her to assist me, right? So what I would do is I would get out all of our books and I would just go through the stack and I would plan out what we're doing. Hey, we didn't get this finished. Sometimes, no, you don't really accomplish your task because the concept is more difficult, or, it's taking her, a little bit more time, right? For whatever reason. And so sometimes what happens also to us is my toddler, right? My toddler happens to us. So, but when I'm saying that we accomplish our task is I don't just say, oh, well, whatever we can get done today. You know what I mean? And like I also said about this past year, kindergarten, it was my first year homeschooling, and I learned so much from 1 year. Like things not to do, things that didn't work for us. And now I have a better understanding of how my daughter learns. People always said, on the curriculum videos and whatnot, what is she interested in? How does she learn? All the things. I didn't have any data to make those decisions, you know what I mean? To use in my decision making. And so involving her in the lesson planning portion helps me, number one, right? Because I don't have to do it all by myself. So it's just helpful for her to, bring me the books or, whatever stuff, or to put them away for me and things like that. That's so super helpful. But the other thing that happened, she started getting excited. She got more excited about what we were going to be doing. And she's getting that preview by me doing lesson planning, And then obviously I adjusted that long range plan and said, hey, we're doing too much of this. These lessons are a little bit longer. Or, hey, we have, some time. We're moving kind of quick through this one. I need to order the next thing that we're going to be working on or whatever. I just make adjustments like that. Notes. But I'm writing on this planner for the week. And I'm making notes throughout the week and, making those adjustments. As you probably noticed, I am not skipping pages like I did last year. And the first thing that happened was I used those pages in the front. The first thing that happened is I used those pages in the front and I couldn't skip that first page. And I thought, oh, well, that one just won't have one. That's fine. But then I thought, do I want to do it like that? Maybe this year I will try leaving them at the back, behind all of the lesson plans and putting all of that stuff a little bit more together. So that's what I'm going to try this year. I try to make this work. If this layout, I made obviously I got to this point last year of how this all came to be, was that I wanted a full page. I needed room to write it out and to think, and I didn't want an itty bitty planner. I'm an A5 size planner typically. I have used a standard TN. I did use a personal wide, and I have used an A6, but I needed some more space for this planner. And I wanted to make sure, because I just wanted to have the room to reference what curriculum we were using and page numbers and concepts and, all the things. I wanted to have the space for it. So that's how it came to be. And I couldn't find anything at that point that I was willing to spend the money on that worked. Yes, there are homeschool planners on the market. But I felt like a lot of them just like with off the shelf regular planners, like daily agenda planner or monthly, weekly planners, right? They're off the shelf. And yes, some of them can work in certain situations, but for an everyday carry, like I need what I need. And so I will, pick and choose different inserts and things to make my things work. And that's the same concept that is applied here. I am picking and choosing what I'm going to put in this thing. I don't need seating charts and, public school information, emergency contacts, all of those type of things, whatever. And I don't necessarily need the long range planning in here either. And it may not go in this. Do you see what I mean? So I can even pick where I want to put that stuff. It doesn't have to be in here. I can reference it off of my digital component. What I usually do too, though, with that digital component is I will print that out. I do a lot of printing, even though, even when I use digital things like that. So all that to say is that I wanted a place where I had the room to write and to put in here what I wanted. And that's the beauty of just doing things yourself. There are free printables. There are a lot of sources too that are very cheap. I mean, when you buy a printable, it's a lot cheaper, right, than buying something that's already printed. I think that there are some planners for homeschooling that would work well, even for us. I'm trying to use that last little bit and it doesn't want to roll out. But there's so many of the pages that I feel like I wouldn't use that I just think that it's a waste. And there's not any note space to make notes throughout a lesson, throughout the day. So that's what I'm going to do, is continue building what I need, what I feel that is best for us. I do need to make 8 more copies of this single-sided, but I have some that were double, so I'm going to try to use those so I don't have to print anymore. And, just make those last pages work. Yeah, so we are starting our school year on Monday. My daughter will officially be starting first grade Monday. Super excited. I'm also going to be sharing our homeschool / office. So the room that I'm recording in is the space that I'm referring to, and it's my office, but we decided to bring the classroom in here. And I wanted to show you guys the spaces in my home that we have used a little bit for homeschooling. Not to get, again, I'm not going to turn this into a homeschool channel, but I just wanted to show a little bit of that just because I wanted to show the office space that we've created. My husband and I basically took some of our garage shelving and put it into this room, and we're doing our cutting and pasting portion of our art back here now, and keeping the painting portion of our art out in our dining room. And he also used those garage shelving out there and made me a cart that is on casters, and it's so cool. We still have some work to do, so there is definitely there's definitely a lot more. Oh, I found one more. There's definitely a lot of organizing that still needs to happen, but I put things in cabinets where they're going to live. but the containers and the organization still needs to happen. But it's definitely presentable. Like, I could totally get on Zoom. It's totally cool. Or Google Meet, whatever, you know. So, yeah. I'm really excited. I'm really excited about my 24 plan and what is happening with that. And I'm really excited about the new school year starting. You guys can argue with me, or disagree. Not argue, don't argue. Disagree. But I'm telling you, my children do not like not having a schedule. Like, they're just all over the place. You know what I mean? When we're not doing our activities, our school stuff. And they weren't involved in anything extra for kindergarten. We'll see what God has in store for us, for first grade. But I'm going to be a part of a charter school here in Anchorage this year. And so I will have some reporting to do because I'm using the charter school so that I get the allotment for our curriculum and supplies. And I have to do some reporting. Alaska, as a state, does not have any guidelines, requirements, mandates, whatever you want to call it, for homeschoolers. There's no, how many days, how many hours, subjects, there's nothing. So for me, that is a great thing. But if you go and you use a charter school, then you basically adhere to some of the reporting for that school district that you're in. So we live in Anchorage, and so that's what will happen. It's grading, it's meeting with my sponsor teacher, things like that. It's not terrible, totally doable, totally, I don't know. It makes sense. It's fine. Like, I don't have a problem with that. I still get to do what I want. I get to teach what I want. I'm just reporting on what I'm teaching and what I'm doing. And so that's how that's going to work. And, you can come and go out of those charter schools, you don't have to stay with them. So that's what we're going to try this year for this school year. Is that the most annoying noise ever? I just was sitting here and I turned the camera off for part of this, and I thought, I should, just talk to you guys while I'm doing this because it's boring. I don't know. Like, I like it. I like the finished product, but I don't really get any satisfaction really from doing this portion. I'm ready for it to be set up so I can use it. You know what I mean? So I thought that might be a way to make the time go by faster. But it doesn't take that long. I mean, I'm looking at, maybe 45 minutes. I can't see that line anymore. There we go. It's not perfect, but it's close. You know what I mean? It's not to the T, but it's totally doable. And that goes fast. I'm going to have to get up and get a glue stick in a moment. So yeah, let me know what portions, and we're out. Let me know what portions of these topics that you would like to see more of, and more details, or if I could just do like a Q&A or something like that. Just let me know, and I will do my best to get that for you. Okay, so now that's kind of chunked up. You can see where the paper is that has not been used. See that? So I need 4 more. I did end up finishing a little bit, probably 6 or 8 pages with this glue stick. And that was much easier, but it does do the wrinkling more. And although that tape runner is annoying, it is faster. I mean, this isn't terrible, but whatever. That's personal preference, you know what I mean? So now I'm going to leave 4 spots. And the thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use like one of these or something, I think, to start that section. 1, 2, 3, 4, which will be here. So I will tab that with that's yellow. If you guys can't see that, there you go. With these Post-it tabs here. And then I can just move those, or move that to the next page. But that way that marks it. And I think I'm going to leave this all open. And I'm going to put this into something else. But I will be adding in a plan with me for homeschooling. If you guys want to see that, let me know. If you want me to add that to the rotation of videos, I will do that. I enjoy planning. I like it because I reap the benefits. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm ready to get started with our new school year.